Just how important are scripts in your agency?
I don't want a script. That doesn't sound natural. Right. That doesn't work.
Yes.
You see what I'm doing there?
Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Good morning, Mr. Jason.
And you know what time it is, Mr. Craig.
It's coffee talk time.
I would like to know what you're coffee talking about today.
Oh, I'd like to ask you a question. Just how important are scripts in your agency?
Incredibly important.
Now, I know that a lot of people, you bring up the word script and it's almost like a bad word. They're like, ugh, right?
I don't want a script. That doesn't sound natural. Right. That doesn't work.
It's unnatural. You could put all the excuses, all the different reasons.
That doesn't work for me.
Right. It doesn't work in my environment. It doesn't work here.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the carriers that are crushing it from call centers, which it makes us, ugh, right? They 100% follow script. That's the only way that they sell. And I think that it's important to note, because we talk about it a lot, there's a big C word that we use that's really, 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 really...
This is a family show, Mr. Craig. I don't know.
Well, it's C-O-N, then the rest. It's consistency. So how can you become consistent with your sales calls if there isn't a framework?
I know what you are, S-A-Y-ing.
Yes.
You see what I'm doing there? Mm-hmm. Craig? Ooh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the script's huge. And you know what it is? Mm-hmm. All it is a framework. It's a fallback. Yeah. So you don't even have to, it doesn't have to sound unnatural, but it will keep anybody on track.
Right. I
mean, literally in our agency, we see it weekly, and we're not a huge agency either. So weekly, we see somebody, I don't know why my sales are starting to slump. We go through the script and it's like, dude, you said all this stuff out of order, because it doesn't make sense. You don't want to ask one question and then while you're on a subject, switch subjects and then go back to the earlier subject where you should have asked the question. That's more unnatural than having a framework where you kind of group things by a subject. Yes. An appropriate time to ask something or an appropriate time to bring something up. That is more natural than it is with some of the stuff that I hear. Because it's all over the place.
Well, and when somebody puts together the quote, right, that's always going to go in some certain order. You're going to ask these questions. You're going to do these things. So why not organize it so that it's in line with the sales technique and tactic?
And that shows that you are the professional and you're not some willy-nilly college kid on his skateboard just out there trying to do whatevs.
Yeah. And so what's really important, and especially like I've noted this as I talk to people. If we hire somebody and they came from another agency, which we don't do very often, but let's say somebody comes in, they are typically, if you just put them straight on the phone and you don't train, you don't do a script, you just want to see what they're going to do, they will take the lead, they will get the information, and then they're going to say, all right, great, I'll put this all together and I'll give you a call back, right? Which is, in my opinion, one of the worst, and I think that you agree, one of the worst things you can do, because we know in a pipeline, the first and most difficult thing is at the beginning, which is to make contact, right? So you're on the phone with the person that has agreed to do the thing that you need to get to the sale, to actually move the product and acquire that new client. The last thing you want to do is let them go.
Right.
Right? If you have a 10% chance of making contact, and it's probably lower now. I mean, some days it's 3%, right? You have a very low chance of getting this person back on the phone on the next dial, the next time you try to call them, even though they said, call me at 3. And it's very interesting because anybody new, they let them go sooner than they should, right? And what will happen is, but no. They said that they'll answer at 3 on, and it's like you have the same conversation with every new producer over and over again, which is they're okay. We'll see how that works out. I mean, it's great that you really believe that they're going to answer the phone, and maybe they will, but the likelihood is by the numbers about 10%. So it's important to keep them on the phone, but I'm not comfortable keeping them on the phone because I don't know what to talk about. That's why there's a script, right? We have a specific order of events that we're going to go through to ensure that it works. Why don't we talk about, let's break it down a little bit. We have a couple more minutes, Mr. Jason.
Sure.
So what's the first part? What's really important?
In the script?
Yeah.
The opener. The first date. Well, no. What is the opener?
Proposal.
No,
that's not the proposal.
Mr. Craig.
The pickup line.
That's right. Good job.
Yeah.
The pickup line. And that is the most important part. And we went over this the other day on the Elite call because it's the whole thought process of the whole quote, right? You don't talk to somebody that like they're your friend. So you have to get out of that mentality at work, and you have an objective when you're on the phone, and the objective is to move that person closer to the sale. Mm-hmm. And the only way, you don't say, hey, do you want a quote? Because that 90% of the time, the person will say no.
Right.
So is that moving that person closer to what you want them to do? Absolutely not. You just start giving them the quote. Well, then I'm busy. Totally get it. I'm busy too. And then you keep doing the quote.
Right.
Training that kind of thought process to just keep pushing it along no matter what's said. That's the most important thing for a salesperson, hands down. If they can't do that, then they're not going to be a good salesperson. That's the pickup line. That's the original. Right. That's like the beginning of the quote.
And let's be honest, it's really uncomfortable talking to the stranger. Right? Especially for somebody that's new, hasn't come from this world. Even for experienced producers, it's almost like the phone call is a hot potato. They want to get that hot potato out of their hands as quickly as possible. And then I'll follow up. And then I'll email. They said to email it. No, all of these are tactics to get you off the phone, and you've got to stay on the phone. And you only have 30 seconds, 2 minutes. Keep them on the phone and then push it to the next stage, right? So 100%. That opening line is really, really, really crucial. We practice that a ton because it has to be it has to be natural and it has to be automatic.
Yep. 100%.
And I say, why don't we dive in to the second part, and we could even make this we could go into it on the next coffee talk. Finish it off.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the second part is
the first date.
The first date.
So, and we kind of relate this all to the whole dating process, right? The pickup line is to get that person at least interested in the conversation. The second part now is the first date. And this is where the sale really happens, because this is where you're gathering the information of the other person. Right. And if you know enough about what they like and don't like, then you might have a chance of developing a relationship with this person, right?
Know you, like you, trust you, right? Everybody that's done any sales has heard that a million times, and it's 100% true. You've got to make them like you. And what are some things they can do?
They need to know the big three, which is what their work is like, what their family's like, and what they do for fun. Hands down.
Yeah. And it's so interesting. I don't know if you get it, but my people, especially new ones, will struggle with asking what they like to do for fun. And it's crazy. Like, you have to do that. And maybe it's just being younger, and maybe because they grew up with iPhones or iPads in their hand and didn't interact with people as much. But it's so important to find out something. And that goes in the notes, right? That goes in I don't care about quoted 2 cars and it was 630. I don't care. Who cares? You can see that when you pull up the quote, right? That's no good. What we need is Shelly lives with 5 kids and loves to go swimming, right? That's valuable information, because now because they're talking to so many people, they're not going to remember Shelly. And so when they pull up the notes and they are able to ask or able to say, hey, Shelly, how's the swimming going? Or how are the kids, or whatever, that's there, right? And it's instant rapport on that next call if you don't get it on the first call. And we know statistically 16 to 17% of what you close is going to come from that first call, but the rest of it is from later on in the pipeline. So super critical to have that information. It's a game changer.
And the next part is the proposal. This is, we've been on the first date, multiple dates. Now, this is what everybody is known as the,
you want to talk about that on the next one? Want to leave it as a quick cliffhanger?
Let's leave it as a cliffhanger. So but we've summed it up as the pickup line, the first date. Next is the proposal. That's when you go through the whole script per se. This is the coverages. And then the last one, of course, is getting out of the doghouse, which is the old objection handling.
Yes. And everybody wants to get to those objections right away, but the number of objections and the validity of the objections melt away if they like you.
Yeah. So and this is something that we go through this weekly. Well, Sergeant Miguel does on the daily drills. And basically every single day we're doing the meetings and we're refining all 4 areas of the script. So if you want some help with the live training, it's super inexpensive for what it is, but it's daily. It's every single day, and it'll train your whole staff
live.
So go to the iDudes.com and daily drills will be on there, and then click the daily drills button. But it's super cool. It's fantastic. So I would check it out. I mean, honestly, it'll save you a ton of time of having to run those meetings, and gives a really clear framework for it. But we'll get into the rest later.
Yeah. Or you just listen to this over and over and have it down. Build up the script. So thank you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review, and we'll talk to you later. I'm not on a phone call. Why am I saying that? That's Coffee Talk.
This is Coffee Talk.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes. It's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now. Live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.